For the majority of foreign visitors to Australia, Canberra is somewhat of a mystery. Compared to the rest of the bigger Australian capitals, Canberra has a delightfully natural atmosphere and highly pure air because of its contemporary, incredibly well-planned layout, some notable instances of architecture, and an abundance of vegetation. Canberra, which is most well recognized as the seat of Australia's government, is much more than just a hub of politics. It also has some of the greatest cultural displays in the nation, with a focus on art, history, and even nature that helped to shape Australia into what it is today. It is also located in a very picturesque area. It exudes a tranquil, rural atmosphere while being the center of the country's primary decision-making. Number 10. Questacon, the National Science and Technology Centre. One of the most family-friendly attractions in Canberra is Questacon, an interactive national scientific and technology center featuring a variety of hands-on science exhibits and do-it-yourself activities is located on Lake Burley-Griffin between the High Court and the National Library. The exhibitions aim to increase awareness of the value of science and technology in modern life. In addition to the 200 interactive displays, there are science shows, special events, and guest lecturers. Beginner innovators may take part in classes, construct things, and experiment with technology at the Technology Learning Center. The H2O soak up the science room with water-related enjoyment. The free fall slide and the earthquake house are some of the highlights of the permanent exhibitions. It makes sense that this is one of the most popular family activities in Canberra. Number 9. Visit the Parliament Houses. Both the ancient and new Parliament buildings have something special to offer, despite being a typical activity in Canberra. New Parliament House is more than just a seat of government. It is an architectural masterpiece and a great place to start your Canberra experience. The structure was erected years ago, yet it has a modern look. Most people will prefer a snapshot with the Australian flag flying in the background. The public has access to the roof, main foyer, and upper and lower house chambers. It's one of Canberra's top attractions since it mixes Australian history, art, and decor. Old Parliament House has been renovated to become the Museum of Australian Democracy, which showcases the origin, present, and future of Australian legislation. You'd be a fool not to see either of these in Canberra landmarks at least once. Number 8. National Zoo and Aquarium. The National Zoo and Aquarium is one of Canberra's most well-known attractions. It's a terrific location to take kids, since there's more to it than simply marveling at the animals. This place will teach you a lot about conservation efforts, and if you're fortunate, you could even meet your favorite animal in person. There is a hip safari lodge as well, if you want to extend your trip and make it memorable. When visiting Canberra, why not take one of the zoo venture trips to make your trip memorable? The possibilities include feeding bears, caressing rhinos, and hand-feeding giraffes. Do not be concerned, everything will be safe, and an experienced animal handler will always be with you. This will be a priceless memento of your stay in Canberra, regardless of your age. Number 7. Mount Majura Vineyard. Mount Majura Vineyard is renowned for its red soil in the mountain's foothills. The vineyard has exceptional Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Riesling. It was the ACT's first recognized vineyard, with grapes planted in 1988. This vineyard offers a pleasant, unpretentious atmosphere, and the staff is always happy to give detailed information about the featured wines. Mount Majura Vineyard offers self-guided vineyard walks. This tour covers the vineyard's history, layout, and winemaking and ends with a panoramic vista. Even though it's still modest, Mount Majura Vineyard has evolved and now provides more red and white wines. This, along with their revolutionary seated wine tastings, makes for an accessible and comprehensive wine tasting. You have a location in Canberra that provides a genuine culinary treat that will entice both wine connoisseurs and regular tourists. Number 6. Cockington Green. Cockington Green started as a modest English hamlet, but has evolved to embrace a whole area with a foreign flair. It's astonishing how much work and care went into designing this village. Cockington Green's subtle, easy-to-miss elements are the key to appreciating the exhibition. Subtle comedy is found in the characters' secret meetings, home fights, and out-of-control animals. Cockington Green's exhibits are anything but static, featuring windmills, model trains, lit-up gardens, and a rideable steam train that can transport you through the gardens and exhibitions. Cockington Green has good grass, beautiful flower displays, and little shrubs that stimulate trees. Cockington Green is a must-see in Canberra for young and old. Number 5. Australian National Botanical Gardens. It's hard to view all of Australia's wildflowers in one trip. Why not go where they're all kept? It's possible in Australian National Botanical Gardens. At the gardens, you'll discover more than just this wonderful flora and odd piece of animals. You'll also discover how important the plants are to Australian culture. Bus excursions are possible, which demonstrated the garden's size. Exploring the grounds on foot is enjoyable. You may see sections of the numerous Australian sceneries. In the Jungle Gully, you could glimpse a water dragon if you're lucky. In the Red Centre, you can see the outback and its grasslands. Number 4. Mount Ainslie Lookout. When you're looking at Canberra at the city level, you may not realize how well planned it is. But if you go to the Mount Ainslie Lookout, you'll get a great perspective of this deliberate, well-planned capital. The mountain just so happens to match up with Anzac Parade precisely, and you'll be able to view Capitol Hill and Lake Burley-Griffin. There are a few additional vantage spots from which you may enjoy breathtaking views of the city. After visiting the Mount Ainslie Lookout, if you're still hankering for more, check out those on Black Hill and Red Hill. Take the Mount Ainslie Kokoda Summit Trail, a 2-kilometer trek that is simple enough for novices to do, but tough enough to be enjoyable and intriguing. If you've been feeling a bit lethargic since you got to town, or if you've been spending too much time stuffing your face with food, you won't feel too uncomfortable whether you want to ride or stroll, since it's also paved. These two amazing things to do in Canberra may be combined into one day as the path begins close to the Australian War Memorial. Number 3. Lake Burley-Griffin. Canberra's focal point is the lovely Lake Burley-Griffin. Locals and visitors alike come here to picnic, cycle, and walk along the waterfront trails, fish sail, and paddle in the beautiful waters. You may reserve an evening cruise aboard the MV Southern Cross to enjoy fine dining while gliding around the lake and taking in the city's sparkling lights. Its center is surrounded by 6 islands, the biggest of which being Aspen Island. Some of Canberra's most popular attractions, like the National Gallery, National Library, Questacon, and National Museum, are dispersed around the lake. The Captain Cook Memorial Jet, a fountain that was unveiled in 1970, on the 200th anniversary of Cook's exploration of Australia, may be seen from the beaches of the Central Basin. On the lake's edge, at Regatta Point, is a globe sculpture showing the roots of Cook's explorations. Commonwealth Park, which sits on the lake's northern shore, is a wonderful destination. The park serves as the location of the renowned Floriade event, which takes place in spring, when more than 1 million flowers are in bloom. Number 2. The National Gallery of Australia. The biggest collection of art in Australia is housed in the National Gallery of Australia. The 3-story cubic concrete building was unveiled by Queen Elizabeth II in October 1982. It has 11 major galleries, a sizable sculpture garden that is arranged according to the 4 seasons, and a fern garden. The huge collection was acquired beginning in 1968 and consists of pieces from Australia, Asia, Europe, America, and the Pacific, as well as the world's biggest collection of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander artwork. Jackson Pollock's Blue Poles, which the museum acquired in 1973 and is now one of the gallery's most well-known works of art, is among its holdings. Oil paintings, watercolors, sculpture, ornamental art, sketches, book illustrations, sketchbooks, photography, video, pottery, costumes, and textiles are just a few examples of the many different media. The many unique exhibits will be enjoyed by both locals and visitors. Number 1. Australian War Memorial. One of Canberra's most stirring sights is a must-see for everyone visiting the Australian capital. The National War Memorial's Byzantine Dome, which seems to have been carried from Istanbul, is a fitting memorial to all the Australian troops who have died while serving their nation. But this intriguing site is more than simply a monument. It's also a museum that chronicles Australia's involvement in several wars, colonization through the present. One of Canberra's attractions that you shouldn't skip is the Australian War Memorial, particularly because admission is free. We advise setting up at least half a day for your visit to this amazing museum since it's worth a few hours of your time. A variety of galleries and an assortment of vintage airplanes are among the museum's attractions. The Child Discovery Zone also has a ton of interactive exhibits, making it simple to occupy children. Don't miss the last post if you're here, as the day is winding down. At 4:55 p.m. every day, a tribute is played. This is among the most moving tourist attractions not only in Canberra, but also in all of Australia.